Hello everyone. Today I would like to introduce you all to someone who is lost in the modern day history, to someone who is influential in our daily lives, but still we don't recognize under whose influence we are, to someone who is until today the only one of his kind and is expected to remain the same until the doom. So people, I welcome the remembrance of the great king Cyrus the Great amongst us. Cyrus was born in the year 599 BC in the city of Anshan, which is presently in Iran. Cyrus, many of you must have not heard this name before, but let me remind you all again that he is the only one of his kind until now. He was the king of the greatest empire that has ever flourished on this earth under the kingship of a single ruler. He was the king of the great Persian Empire, the vast Persian Empire that expanded from the lands of the Egypt in Africa, Greek in Europe towards the west, and up till the banks of the river Indus towards the east. And when we move towards the north, you can cover some parts of China, then the parts of Kazakhstan, and then on the world map you can join it to the Greek. So that's the extent of his vast empire that existed 2500 years ago. Now back then, 2500 years ago, the continents of North America and South America were not discovered. Neither people know anything about Australia. So according to the people of those times, the world was what we can call today Eurasia. The combination of the continents of Europe, Asia and Africa was what people thought that was the world for them. And even in that, the main part of the world was the Middle East and Egypt, Europe, in the parts of China. This was only the main part of the world because Africa was not developed that much. The parts of the other parts of China were not developed that much. Russia and the exteriors of the Europe, they are not as much inhabited as this part of the world. So what people used to think at that time, that Cyrus the Great is the king of the four corners of this world. And yes, it was true, because the other parts of the world were not that much inhabited. That's why it is legitimate and it's okay if we call him that he was the king of the four corners of the world. Now, you all must be thinking that this man Cyrus must be one of the most bloodthirsty kings of all times that must have killed thousands of soldiers and then conquered this vast empire. Yes, it's true, because what the kings used to do, they attacked the other kingdoms, then they defeated them, and then they imposed on the people that yes, I am your new ruler. We have examples for that. Alexander the Great, the conqueror; Genghis Khan, the conqueror; Timur-Lenk, the conqueror; Ashoka the Great, the conqueror. They were all the conquerors. They conquered lands. They attacked the lands of the other kings. They defeated them, and then they became the kings over there. But let me tell you, this was not the case with the Cyrus the Great. He told people, I won't rule you unless and until the people of your land want me to rule. So instead of being called conqueror, Cyrus the Great was called as Cyrus the Great, the liberator. The liberator who freed people out of the evil wickedness of the kings of those times. The liberator who freed people of the torment and tortures of the kings that they imposed on their subjects. He liberated people from the corrupt kingship that suppressed many of the subjects. So now what was the case at that time? The people themselves used to call Cyrus the Great to attack their own kings and defeat them and rule over them. He was such a beautiful personality that it was loved by the people all over the world. He never attacked any lands. He was called to the people that, oh, Cyrus the Great king, our this XX king, he is just suppressing us and doing this and that, and that's why we want you to free us, to liberate us from the wickedness of this king. So that's how his empire grew. He brought into existence the concept of human rights. The three basic needs: food, clothing shelter. He told people that this was the duty of the government, of the king, to take care that each of its subject is getting all these things properly. He gave people right to choose the religion which they want. He gave them the right to speak the language they want. So if Cyrus the Great was Persian, he never imposed on the people of China to speak Persian. He never imposed on the people of Greek to speak Persian. Instead, all the administrative works of the respective regions were carried out in their respective languages, in their respective cultures and traditions. He never imposed people anything that was against their tradition and culture and language and religion. He is known as the symbol of tolerance and equality for all. For administration of such a vast empire, he used the satrapy system. He appointed satraps at different locations of his empires. A satrap can be just equated to a governor nowadays, and those satraps were among the people of those regions only, who knew that what were the problems of those regions, who knew what could be the most efficient way to bring prosperity in those regions. Now, Cyrus the Great, he established the fastest of the roads throughout his empire, and he started the first postal system. So people loved him, people loved him. But the question is, did God also love him? And the answer is yes. Such a great king, he was such a great king that he has been mentioned in 3 religious books. Not in 1, not in 2, but in 3 religious books. The Isaiah, the Bible and the Quran. And all 3 of them have just praised him. So it was in the Quran, he is mentioned by the name Dhul-Qarnain. Dhul-Qarnain, Dhul means 2, Qarna means the horns, the man with the 2 horns. He was called so because he was the emperor of he was the liberator of the 2 empires, the Median Empire and the Lydian Empire. So it's just a long story, because these Isaiah, Bible and the Quran, they all are interconnected. That will lead us to a new story. Okay, so we should just pray to God that we also get such a ruler. He unites there should come a ruler who would unite all the different countries and bring prosperity to all of us, because in today's world we can see what's going on. Just war and war everywhere, and just hatred amongst all of us. So let's pray to God that there comes a ruler like that and unite us again and bring prosperity and development on this earth. Thank you.